Well, hello there. Welcome to On the Beat, the podcast that uncovers full frontal male nudity in cinema. My name is Laura, and I am joined by my co-host, Ryan.
I have never slept with my father.
That is a really good thing to put out there on Front Street because I didn't know how intimate Papas and Sons could be until we watched the 1999 comedy drama ? Comedy ? Drama, I don't know.
It's definitely a comedy.
This trauma bonding experiment
Yeah.
in
Everybody's just a little sad.
debauchery and manipulation. 8.5 Women. That is the film. 8.5 Women. Not to be confused with 8.5.
The Fellini movie,
But
no.
maybe.
Well, I think it's obvious there's certain connections that are being made here.
There is quite clearly.
Some very clear ones.
This is a 1999 film.
2000.
Sure. This was made in that arena.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it was. If you were to show me this movie, I would not know when it was made.
No. In some ways, that would mean it was timeless. In other ways, it would be like, oh, this is something from the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this film was directed by Peter Greenaway.
Who we've covered prior.
We have. I do like Peter Greenaway. I've been kind of saving his movies in just like a little box because I know that I'm gonna see a dick. A dick's gonna pop out no matter what in any Greenaway movie. So I'm like, let's watch these for research instead of for pleasures.
Mm-hmm.
This film stars John Standing, Matthew Delamere, Vivian Wu, Shizuka Ino, Toni Collette, Amanda Plummer. There's more. There's so many people in this movie. But I'm going to toss you the synopsis. It's long.
Well,
Are you ready?
That's disappointing.
That it's long?
Mm-hmm.
That I pulled from Letterboxd. After his wife dies, middle-aged businessman Philip Elemental, at the prompting of his Playboy son story, populates his Geneva villa with 8.5 concubines. Let's see, 3 are from Kyoto, where Story manages pachinko palaces. Each has a distinctive personality. Oh, you think? Sorry, I'm going off book here. You think each of these individual human beings has a distinctive personality?
But you're making the synopsis even longer. How am I supposed to make a valued assessment of the synopsis if you keep on making it?
I'm not done. It's going to go on for 8.5 more minutes. Each has a distinctive personality: a nun, a childbearer, a gambler, a student of kabuki, a horsewoman with a pet pig, a maid. As a year passes, the women begin asserting their own power.
Rise up against the patriarchy. That's it.
I mean, okay, the tagline is decent.
Is that the synopsis?
That's it. That's the synopsis. That's end.
Oh, well, it wasn't that bad. It kind of tells, gets you there.
Each woman has a distinctive personality. Oh, you think if you not even bribe, but you're, what's the word where you're like coercing these women and putting them into situations where you're like, you have to pay off your debts to me. Blackmail.
Yeah, blackmail.
You're blackmailing all of these women to go live in your house and take their titties out and have sex with you.
Right.
So they're forcing them into sex slavery to pay off their debts. And they think it's so cute and fun. Look at how fun. These guys are the worst.
I have to emphasize the comedy elements of it because it's because you hear how Laura's talking about the film.
Yes.
It's a Peter Greenaway film. So it's fucking mental.
Yes.
It's crazy.
It is also gorgeous. The movie is beautiful to look at. He was trained as a painter. So a lot of these shots, as you would remember from watching The Cook, the Thief, his wife, and her lover, are these beautiful grand shots, these beautiful colorful things, cool lighting effects and costumes.
Yeah.
In this film, the costumes are their bare bodies. But anyway, sorry, go on, Ryan.
Yeah, I think we need to emphasize the Greenaway aspect so that you understand like what you're walking into. Because otherwise, like if you're just like, yeah, it's a drama, it's an incest drama about a father and a son who've lost the mother and the wife of the family, the matriarch, and they decide because they're very sad, they decide because there's a lot of questions about like what is gender, like what makes someone a man, what makes someone a woman, and there's a lot of very very kind of strange analytical conversations that are happening, and these men are effectively they're on an exploration of not only their bodies but of I guess like what you would refer to as like, we're coming in, at least with the father, coming into the twilight of his life, feeling certain feelings and feeling certain things that he hasn't experienced before. And it's exciting to him. And the son is obviously a bit of a playboy. He's in Kyoto. There's all the pachinko. It's very loud. It's very manic. It's very disorienting. It's madcap. And to me, it makes for because the thing is, you cannot take it seriously. If you start to take it seriously, then you're horrified by it.
Yes, I was slightly horrified.
You have to see the funny, it's excess, it's delusions of grandeur, like it's all these things, a couple of English boys doing some very, very, very questionable things.
Yeah.
and yeah, the film looks great. It looks like it's been shot on a stage and it looks fantastic. And yeah, I don't think if you start looking at it and taking it seriously, you're going to have a very good time with it.
This is the important thing about watching films with people.
Yeah.
This is so important because I watched this film and I was shocked. I was aghast. I did laugh a couple of times. I was horrified. I was disgusted. I was angry. But it was funny and it was beautiful. So then I watched this separate from you, Ryan. And then when you watched it,
I had a fantastic time.
All I heard was just guffawing, heavy, like the thick laughter of someone who's really enjoying themselves. Like, and just, it was such a delight. And I didn't even watch it with him. I just heard him enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I really fucked up. I should
have
watched it with him.
You should have watched it with me. It's a black comedy. It's so incredibly dark. Like, it's pitch black how the depths to which it goes. And I think you kind of have to take it that way. Yeah.
And it depends on your state of mind at the moment and the mood that you're in. But yeah, I would love to watch this with a group of people to just see. There's so many parts of this movie that are just quick shots of really insane shit.
I'd even go so far as to say it's slightly avant-garde. Like,
yes.
It's a little bit more structured than, say, like The Other Side of the Underneath, which is kind of more of an art piece, like an art exploration. But with this, at least, you have your central characters and you have this plot line. And really, it's just about how far will these characters take this. And it goes to some places. It really does. Like, it really goes there. And you're like, all right, here we go.
I mean, the half in the 8.5 is an amputee.
Yeah.
And I think she has disabilities.
Yes.
So, and I mean, this can only be made, something like this, to be considered amusing in the attitude era of this time of our lives, right? This is like you have someone in a wheelchair who's an amputee who is disabled, and you're calling her a half person.
So you talk about like the Attitude Era and whether or not
NWO.
But the thing is like the thing is I don't know why we're bringing wrestling into this.
I don't always try to, but I like to.
Is that how you distinguish time?
I genuinely do. You have a sticker in front of me also of Stone Cold Steve Austin. It says "Hell yeah" on it. So I'm like, yes, it's right. It's literally in front of my face.
Yeah, when I interviewed with the WWE to go work with them, yes, I did say my favorite period of wrestling was obviously the Stone Cold, Kane, Undertaker era. Triple H, like where everybody's just like, yeah, suck it.
Like who didn't go around saying suck it? Like they had to in schools, like tell kids to stop gesturing towards their genitals.
Yeah.
Because it was a problem.
Yeah. Degeneration X.
Yeah.
Like everything. But yeah, no, the thing is like, yeah, you would probably struggle. You could make a film like this today. Probably wouldn't be particularly well regarded, but I also feel like Peter Greenaway goes in there with an intent and an idea, and I wouldn't say so much a subtlety, but there's like there's
no subtlety.
No, there's an underlying understanding of the material and what exactly he is trying to achieve, and the more outlandish it is, I think the better it is. And it just, as long as it has to go over that hump, I feel like a lot of films maybe now, if they're giving some sort of material like this, they just don't take it far enough. So you're just you kind of end up being a little bit disappointed. So you do wish, I wish that would have gone further. With this, you don't have to worry about that, because it basically spends 2 hours showing you how far it can actually go.
This film is full of nudity, like top to bottom, men, women. It's not like shocking in any sort of way. It's just very, very, very casual nudity throughout every single person in the movie.
Yeah.
Especially the father and son.
Yeah.
Usually standing side by side or really close to each other.
Yeah, and they're talking
touching
about
each other.
They're talking about cocks, like kissing cocks, like fat cocks.
Yeah.
And like they're looking at each other's genitals, they're touching each other's genitals. I mean, they even have, one of the dick scenes sees the father, the son, one of the Japanese girlfriends get into bed, and they've obviously had a little bit of sex. Now, you don't see any of this. A lot of the sex you don't see,
so
which
this
is, thankfully, obviously for various reasons. But yes, you don't see any of that. It's definitely implied, though.
That's the interesting thing about this film, is that considering how heavily nude it is, there is no sex in this movie. Like there isn't.
Apart from maybe, spoiler alert, the father's death scene at the end is maybe a little bit more explicit than the rest of it.
You don't see any of that stuff happening.
You don't see it happening, but
there's no sexual intercourse.
It's very heavily implied. No, there is no. You don't see it. You just don't see it. But you know it's heavily implied from the way they're talking and the way that, like, because they obviously are. They obviously are.
Yeah, you're either seeing pre or post coitus every single time. But what I do find interesting is how the critics and kind of in general the public viewed this movie after seeing it. They were annoyed that there was no sex in it. I disagree. I thought it was a really interesting way to put this movie together, because I thought it would have pushed it in a direction that wasn't the point of the movie.
Yeah.
The point of the movie is different than that. But
I personally like the idea of showing this level of decadence, like this kind of Roman, like almost the vomitorium, like the debauchery, and just highlighting it so that you are able to kind of conjure up something else in your head. Because the idea of seeing, John Standing kind of slapping away at the way he would in this movie doesn't really appeal to me particularly much.
It's nice to just hear them like pontificate about it and kind of see how it changes their lives in a way.
Well, it's because of how they speak about it as well. It's all very much within the framework of this experiment. Like, this is the chapter of their lives where we have 8.5 women all living in this house, and we're going to see how it goes. Now, obviously, as you might expect, it goes horribly.
Rightfully so.
But it's very much a reflection on, on society. It's very much a reflection on upper class white values and what, because these two individuals are rich. They have nothing else to worry about in this world. They don't have to worry about where their next meal's coming from. They don't have to worry about their house being taken away. Like, these are people who have lived in opulence for the entirety of their lives, and they are able to go down these routes. I mean, when the minute the film opens, you're treated to a Japanese skyline. There's an argument with I don't know if he's Japanese or Korean, because I was trying to figure that one out. But there's they're basically taking from this man who then punches John standing, and then the mother dies, and then there's this idea that he's going to sleep with the corpse. All this other sort, and like, when the minute it starts, you're in for a bit of a wild ride. Like, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't remember ever having a conversation like that with my father. Ever.
Oh, God, no.
Intimate conversations with your dad?
About, like, just getting nude. Okay, I do. I remember I told you this when you were watching the film. There's some films that I pre-screen, right? I'm like, I think there might be a penis in this. And so I'll just get the movie up and I'll scan through it real quick, and I don't actually watch it. So there is that shot. If you want to go into that right now, I can. We're kind of jumping all over the place, but it's like right in the beginning of the movie, like 16 minutes, 45 seconds into this movie, where this father and son, they've been pontificating all day, all night, and just grieving over the loss of their matriarch. And
well, the mother's in the house still.
She's still dead in the house. And they're just wandering around. He doesn't want to be in the house, so they go outside. They're all over the house. But for whatever reason, they're like in robes. And the dad's in the bed in a robe and a trench coat. And then the son just decides, I'm going to take my clothes off in the mirror, because he talked about being in that room, looking in the mirror, basically trying to suck his own dick when he was a child.
Yeah.
And that's why he's like kissing cocks and stuff.
He's like, the mirror has seen more of him
Yeah.
than anybody else has.
Yes. And so his father's kind of, again, very verbose. They're just talking. And he goes, you know, seeing my son like this is like seeing a stranger, you know, and he's just staring at his son's naked body and he's talking about his butt. Like, it's very interesting. And then his son wants his dad. He's like, well, take off your clothes. I want to see what I look like when I'm 57. And of course he goes, I'm 55. The actor is 65, by the way.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Well, he's fine.
But then they just stand naked next to each other in the mirror and just talk about each other's bodies. And
well, they're trauma bonding.
Sure.
You know?
Sure. But this is clearly the behavior of a single child, an only child. No other child in a family with siblings acts like that with their parents. This is a rich only child who has no friends. And even the father says earlier, he goes, I think we did you a disservice. A disservice. I can't speak. A disservice by not having more children, so you would have someone to speak to other than me about this stuff.
Yeah, which is even weirder.
He clearly knows his son is weird.
Yeah, but he's also brought him up as his son, so he's also kind of brought him up to be a little bit weird.
I doubt that his father even brought him up. He probably was brought up by maids.
Yeah, one of the maids is going on about. One of them was a midget.
Oh my god. Yeah.
A lot of very notable, recognizable faces from British cinema and TV in this movie too, which is appreciated.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but like, here's the thing: like, it's just, you know, because we begin in Japan. There's the fucking earthquake, you know. And the earthquake is a permeating metaphor that goes through the entire film. I mean, them stripping off in front of each other is kind of one of the tamest parts of the film, to be fair.
Yes.
I mean, at the mother's funeral, like the father strips off because he's like, well, obviously I'm not allowed to wear white at the funeral.
When he also says, my wife never saw me fully naked during our entire marriage, so she's going to see me now. Like standing like one row of graves behind an entire group of people. He strips down naked in front of groups of people multiple times.
Yeah, and then he's like bartering with folk and like to pay for black clothing so he can, go to the funeral. I mean, the one thing that I found with the film, at least within a certain point, is just that it's a film about people who are talking during performances.
Yeah.
Because they talk during Fellini's 8.5 when they all go to the cinema. It's a whole big group of them. I think it's like after the funeral or something. They all go to the cinema. Because they're just like constantly talking about their cocks, talking about sex, all this sort of thing. And then they go to Japan, and then they're talking during the kabuki show where they're kind of making this distinction being about like, because, with kabuki, it's there's an element of drag as well in there. Where it's kind of like the male presence in that show is like more female than a woman might be. And he's talking to this other woman who ends up being one of the concubines about like how she feels less of a woman than the actual man is on the stage. Things like that. There's a lot of kind of weird gender identity, like gender exploration stuff that's happening in the film as well, which is to me it's interesting. Obviously, up until the point where you're like, oh, incest starts to happen.
I mean, they don't actually. They're just way too intimate. Or the son is way too intimate. Or did I miss something?
I mean, they have a threesome with the Kyoto girlfriend, which is implied, not shown.
Everything is, yeah.
But everything, I mean, at that point, though, because everything goes up a step, everything goes a level, it just keeps on going. In any moment where anyone's about to be naked, because for the most part, I mean, it's relatively quite balanced. I would say you probably see more male nudity than female nudity in this movie.
Probably.
Like, I mean, Toni Collette, like, she's fully naked for swathes of the film as well, shaves her head, they turn her into a nun, starts a nunnery in the mansion. Like,
so when she originally had auditioned for the role of Beryl, which is the woman that rides the horse who has the pig. She wanted that role. She's like, she gets to ride naked on a horse under a full moon. She was really into it, but she said that she went in and she had just shaved her head.
Okay.
In real life, and she had a Buddha around her neck, and Greenaway cast her as like the spiritual element about, because she becomes a nun.
Yeah.
But she said, well, that teaches me how I go into casting.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I don't do that. She also said that Peter Greenaway's odd, but very interesting. He let me try everything I suggested, which was probably that accent.
Probably, yeah. That quite questionable accent. And we can't really get away from the fact that there's some pretty blatant racism going on in the movie as well. Because, I mean, I think we were speaking kind of slightly before, we kind of switched on the mics and stuff. There are obviously Japanese, Eastern actors in this movie, who I think potentially play up the fact that they're Japanese saying English dialogue a little bit more than they probably would.
That's not even my main issue.
But there's also, well, I mean, I was getting to the blackface.
Yeah.
There's the blackface. There's a blackface moment. But to me, it's one of the funniest points of the movie where John Standing is basically, like Amanda, is it Amanda Plummer?
No, it's not Amanda Plummer. It's I'll figure out her name. Give me
anyway,
1 second.
she's washing herself off. The son comes in. He's just like, "What are you doing?" And the father goes, "Well, I thought I would try and make myself look like her black boyfriend, so she liked me a little bit more." And he's just covered in black, like blackface, full makeup, everything. And
Oh, it's Polly Walker who plays Palmyra.
okay, so yeah, and it's just it's
She's
it's
on the cover of
startling.
the
It's
movie.
startling, but the thing is like, yeah, it's hard to justify. It's going to be very difficult to justify, but if you look at it from the aspect of it being like the darkest humor possible for that moment, yeah, I think it's a fantastic moment. It's very funny.
It is pretty funny. Well, because
Yeah.
she kind of comes in and walks by him, and she's like, just take that off, honestly, because he falls for her. Out of all of the women, he falls for Palmyra.
She's also a swindler.
Oh yeah,
You know, she's been swindling money and stuff like that. But the thing
he
is, like,
doesn't
she
care.
doesn't. Well, she doesn't just say, "Oh, take that off." She's like, "I want you to hit me on the backside with a tennis racket really hard."
Yeah,
It's like, "I want you to be ready in 6.5 minutes." You know,
yeah.
and it's that kind of like it's that kind of world we're in where it's like, I mean, I guess like, yeah, I don't know if it's like sallow light. But it's like people are exploring taboos and things in their lives that they never had the option to explore before. And it basically takes them into these
PG Sallow.
PG Sallow. It's just they start exploring these aspects that they didn't explore before because, you know, we're unbridled, you know, we're this is if there's any time to be alive, the time is now, you know. It's kind of it's very it's just very odd. There's a lot of very odd things going on.
They also dump corpses.
Yeah.
So I believe it was Kika, and she drowned herself.
Yeah.
And they make some sort of joke that she lost her shoes. Oh, because she lost her shoes, she had to kill herself. She
Yeah.
was so bereft. Whatever, that's fine. But they take her out into a boat into the lake in front of the mansion, and they're trying to toss her body into the lake, but they're using her actual, like, it's not a body double, it's her.
No.
And she's alive because she's an actor. And they're trying to wrench her body up, and she's actively laughing as it's happening. I don't know if you looked that close, but she is alive.
Well, she looks like she's wincing in
or
pain.
wincing.
Yeah, she's wincing in pain because it's you know, hard edges of a rowing boat and
picked up by a couple
of dudes, and it's obviously awkward. And then they kind of just toss her,
grimacing and laughing. I wrote,
toss her in.
That was funny.
I don't know why you wouldn't just swaddle something and just put some rocks in it and that, and so you just get something that just go blup.
Like we're gonna do this once. All right,
we're gonna do this once. That's the best we're gonna get out of it, and that's it. And then they toss her shoes in
like,
there.
oh, you are laughing. Oh, all right. Well, whatever. No one will notice. Oh boy.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, it you know, how do you replace the loss of one woman in your life, i.e. this mother, the wife, well, you replace her by getting 8.5 more.
Well, I mean, he does kind of stop thinking about it once he's got, what's her name? Palmyra.
Yeah.
You know?
He's very happy, to the point where he dies happy.
His son.
He dies getting a hand job.
He's getting a hand job by Palmyra behind a closed door. And his son is sitting outside and watching through a keyhole while his dad gets pulled off.
Your toast is burning. Father, your toast is burning.
It's so upsetting. His son has to go to therapy.
He's a slimy bugger. Yeah.
And they call him a playboy. I disagree. Like, it's always playboy. I go, he's a weirdo. He's just a rich guy.
He's a rich weirdo.
Like, he's only a playboy because he has money, and he gives it to everybody. He just keeps giving people money.
Yeah, like Bruce Wayne was like a playboy. He was also Batman.
And he's also hot.
Bruce Wayne?
Yeah.
I guess.
Every version of Bruce Wayne's hot. This dude's just a little guy.
Yeah, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens. They all get nuts.
They all do get. I mean, here's the thing: don't we all just get nuts eventually? I mean, I'm borderline.
I really hope I don't get this nuts to where I trap a bunch of women in my house.
No, you know how that sounds tiring, and it sounds really annoying as well.
What, to have a bunch of women around? What are you talking about? What do you mean?
I think-
Explain yourself.
I think that it would become very difficult to get
just think
some alone time.
You just don't want to have roommates, and that's fair.
No, I don't.
There,
I don't even want people in my life. Generally, I'm just kind of just like, yeah.
one part that I really liked, and I don't remember who the father was sleeping with at the time, and I think you said it was the disabled woman, the amputee. But he walks down the hallway, fully nude, covered in like his crotch is covered in blood. So maybe he was doing like, is there a thing that you call having sex with a woman on her period? Is there like one of those funny Urban Dictionary phrases
I don't know,
for that?
like the Red Wings,
Like
I don't. Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, but
maybe
because
that's
clearly
it's maybe not the time nor the place. But
I'm
he's
gonna
covered
find
in,
out.
He's covered in blood.
Covered in period blood, and he said something about like, oh, her insides must be a car crash.
Yeah, that woman's insides must be like a traffic accident. Yes, yeah, I wrote that down. Yeah, no, it's rough. That's rough. And it's just kind of like an insert.
No, it was
as
funny.
well.
I liked that.
Yeah, but it's like an insert because you're kind of just not 100% sure what it is. But the thing is, you wouldn't have understood otherwise what he was referring to unless he said that line. And it's just like, oh God, that's disgusting. Yeah, no, there's some shit in this movie. There really is.
I was trying to look it up, and it's nothing funny. It just says period sex. How boring. And you said Red Wings, which is another thing, but I thought it was going to be something better. That's boring. Whatever.
It's just that time. It's just that time. Yeah, you know.
But I did like that very much. Show more period sex in movies. Show dudes' crotches covered in blood. Let's untaboo that. Why is it taboo? It's just blood.
Yeah.
It's awesome. That dad ended up like, I know he's a piece of shit, but I'm glad he was exploring his freak.
Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. He was exploring a lot of things.
Terrible people.
They're awful. They're just awful people. Everyone in the film, like, nobody's really redeemable, like, at all.
And they're responsible for Beryl falling off that horse. Okay, so earlier in the film, because they start collecting these women, right? And then they're manipulating them into staying at his house under a year contract.
Yeah.
For sex.
Mm-hmm.
So he's driving down the country road, assuming he's going back to his mansion. And there's a woman on a horse, and he just comes up like inches behind this horse. He's just honking his horn. And obviously the horse I'm like, just let her ride the horse. Relax. And then the woman falls off her horse, and then she's in this like body cast, like Crash.
Yeah.
And but it's like a sexy body cast where boobies are out, you know, because it's a Greenaway movie. That woman also does a cool scene later on where she's washing a gigantic pig in a bathtub, and she's naked, isn't she? It's awesome.
Yeah, but it's like it's kind of like Baroque lighting, and there's a mirror at an angle in the background, so you can see her bottom.
It's cool.
Strange.
Sorry, that was one of my favorite shots out of the whole movie was her washing that pig. I want to make it into an art. It was awesome. Anyway, it's you talking about it in the way that you do has made me enjoy it more than I originally did. That's for sure.
It's very enjoyable. I think you just kind of have to not take something as absurd as this too seriously.
Like
it's way further than you'd ever really want anything to go for the most part. But like it's exploring some interesting ideas, and I think the decadent nature of how it's shot, how it's put together, the locations, the trans international like boundaries, you know, from Japan to Geneva with these two English guys, all the culture, all the different things that are going on, like it allows for some chicanery and for some shenanigans to happen that you wouldn't normally see. And obviously that it also means that it's going to start pushing some boundaries, and it's going to test your moral backbone, and it's going to make you kind of be like, uh-oh, this is uncomfortable. How does this make you feel? And the thing is like, I think it's kind of at the root of good comedy, is that it does challenge your kind of moral standings as well. And this, I think, it just does a good job of that, personally, because it's just so outlandish, it's so crazy. So
There is a review from like Entertainment Weekly when it came out that I thought was interesting, because we spoke a little bit before about how, there's not actually any intercourse in this movie, but there's a ton of nudity.
yeah,
And it said, 8.5 Women keeps teasing you with intimations of the libidinous animal within. But since no one on screen does anything but pontificate, I was left to conclude that what Greenaway is really expressing is a shame of a filmmaker who longs, in his guilty heart, to make a dirty movie, who must then kill that impulse by cold showering his audience into an unholy stupor.
wow.
He didn't like it. This is not a well-regarded film. If you look at the overall critics ratings and like audience ratings, it didn't go well. This is very low on a Greenaway list. But I think that it deserves a little bit more recognition. I think it deserves another look.
I think in a filmography as rich as Peter Greenaway's is, I don't see how this doesn't slot in there.
Yeah.
Quite comfortably into the rest of his stuff. Obviously, The Cook the Thief is regarded as a classic, and I don't think that'll ever change. It's a very unique piece of cinema, The Cook the Thief. But this, to me, is a lesser known, lesser regarded film. Like, I mean, I very much enjoyed it. So maybe I'm a Peter Greenaway fan. Maybe I didn't think I was, because I remember back in the day not being a massive fan. I really wasn't. But now, as I get older, yeah, maybe I'm just a fucking crazy person.
Maybe you're a sex freak. Pervo.
I can only remember one time I hugged my father, and it was a begrudged hug.
I mean, genuinely, that's what I'm saying. You're not an only child, and we're not rich people. If we were rich people, because I think that's but I think that's kind of the thing about children who maybe didn't have that connection with their parents growing up. So if you're well off and you don't see your family that much, like, this feels like this child's story's opportunity to get closer to his father and spend time with him, because that's all he wants. He goes, "Oh, Dad, you're in Geneva. I thought you were coming to Kyoto." Like, he's like longing for that attention and longing for that closeness and intimacy with his father, which is why, like, he kind of concocts this plan to get all these women together, and he keeps wanting to be involved. Yeah. Every step of the way. Like, when his father gets close to Palmyra, he wants to be involved in that. And he's like annoyed that they aren't sharing it that much. Like, when they had that little weird threesome, he loved it.
He did, yeah.
He was like, "This is great. I get to do this with my father. It's weird." There is that line that blew me away. And it was just after, I think, they got naked in the mirror together towards the beginning of the movie. His son is cuddling him. The dad's got this hairy chest, and the son's got his hand on his open, hairy chest. And they're kind of doing like a spoon cuddle thing.
Yeah.
And he tells his dad, "Well, we couldn't make babies even if we tried."
Yeah.
What the fuck kind of comment is that to make to your father? This is a respectable Genevan businessman. And you're just a little weirdo rubbing your father. It is a crazy thing, but I do think that comes down to an only child not necessarily being raised by your parents and looking for that closeness and saying, like, "Oh, my mom's out of the way now. Time for me to step in and be mom." I think I might have cracked it.
I think it's fucking genius.
Yeah.
It's so fucking crazy.
It happens just constantly, this weird stuff with his son. In terms of visibility and context, there is literally no other answer than a 5. It is, and for visibility at least, context, like, there's no other context. A movie like this doesn't exist. This is a very weird movie, and I know it's kind of coming off of the inspiration from like 8.5, and I've just never really seen a movie like this, and it's very strange. The storyline's insane. Peter Greenaway wrote the script, and I don't know what he was thinking, but context, none of it makes sense, but yet I'm very happy that it's there. Like, none of it makes sense. Towards the end, yes, like when you're having those scenes of them getting nude, but they're getting nude in public. I don't know. I'm just like rambling. It's odd.
To me, the film is an interpretation of how these men are literally dealing with the loss of either their wife and their mother.
Yeah.
And it's an interpretation of the emotions that they're going through. But because it's an interpretation, it's kind of like this otherworldly, unreality, very unreal sort of feel. Like no one is behaving how they would behave probably in real life.
Yeah.
So for me, because it's an interpretation, I can just take everything as it is at face value, because the style and the way they're talking and the way they're interacting and the way that the people that they have around them are interacting, because of how everything is being constructed in this world, that's where I kind of find the context. So I don't at any point feel as though anything feels like out of place, because he's done a good job of constructing this world and constructing the opinions and the feelings and the emotions of these characters. So for me, contextual wise, like it doesn't dock it in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
You kind of have to go along for the ride. You're either really into this or you're really kind of disgusted by it. And I think that's kind of where the distinction is with a lot of Peter Greenaway's stuff, is that you have to allow yourself to be taken in by the styles, like the stylings of it all, the painterly look of the whole thing, the way the characters are interacting, what they're saying, because it's just not accurate to real life. And I don't think you should look at this thinking, oh, it is. But it's an interpretation of the emotions and of the character feelings. So for me, when it comes down to context, visibility is fine. I mean, you're seeing everything. But, contextually, I think it has to be interrelated to the way that the world has been constructed. So for me, it all makes complete sense.
Yeah. No, I think you explained it really well, and it's just such an odd movie. And I'm like, how do you put something like that into a context? But yeah, if you're doing it in a fairy tale fantasy, like that works for me. I'm struggling with this movie to rate it. I originally, when I watched it, I gave it 2.5. I was annoyed. And you were saying that you either get it or you don't, or you like it or you're disgusted by it. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. I'm kind of like hanging out in the middle here. So I'm going to give it a 3.5 right now, because I really want to watch it with other people. And I want to kind of get like a group vibe of it all, because I was in a weird mood when I watched it and my tummy hurt.
Well, I think you're...
it deserves more.
Yeah, well, you're obviously conflicted. That's fine. That's okay.
I have a little conflict. But it's not, because I do like it and I do think it's very beautiful. And so I'm interested to see it without being annoyed that they've trapped all these women and made them have sex with them. That's what happens. They manipulate all these women and trap them into sex contracts. It's, what the fuck is that? But it's funny?
But the women rise up against them, though.
Well, it's funny because the women that,
unless they
spoilers,
don't die. Yeah.
Spoilers, the women who try to rise up against them aren't even the sex slaves. Like they work in the house.
Yeah.
So
it's a reflection on.
Do you think she's trying to poison me?
Yeah.
Whoops. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 right now. It's an incredibly verbose, mildly sophisticated exploitation soap opera.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
Well, I gave it 4.5 because I loved the shit out of it, and I didn't care. I was into it from the very beginning, and it just got its hooks in me, and I was taken along for the ride. And yeah, just because I like it doesn't mean that I agree with some of the really quite fucked up things that happen in it. But it's all conducive to what's being explored in this world. So yeah, no. And I think if you're able to, you're able to claw some funnies out of it, I think all the better for it. So yeah, I gave it a 4.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Do you have anything else you want to add? All I would add is just like funny shit that happens or things that people say. Period blood. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like when they shave Tony Collette's head and then they start smelling the head and then they start describing what that smell is. And one of them goes, "The smell of my watch strap after a game of squash." And I'm like, oh, it's so fucking nasty. It's so nasty. Oh,
nasty boys.
They are. They're pretty nasty boys.
Oh, you nasty boys. Coming to you from the Fuck Palace in Geneva, I have been Laura.
I've got to put that kitty cat back on his log.
Ryan's got a lot of trinkets that I keep knocking down because I'm gesticulating too much and shaking the table. Yeah. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at onthebeat, BITTE. Rate and review us anywhere you feel like doing that. Make sure it's 5 stars because that's pleasant. Tell your friends if they like movies, they can come listen to us. And we're on Letterboxd as well, but there are individual accounts. I think you can find them on our Instagram. But thanks for being here. I can't wait to watch more Greenaway movies. Those dicks.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.